Hey, welcome to this video about coloring cell blocks for data input. We're going to go from this garish blue that I used to use. I'll share that with you first, and then I'll share with you this new way of using border styles that I think is really cool. One of the reasons why we need to use color in order to help others enter data is that sometimes our sheets need to lead the eye to where the person, the reader, or the data inputter needs to work. For instance, here's just a example spreadsheet, like a little business model. Like we have some customers that we start some amount of customers, and we want to know how many can we sell and how much revenue can we make, and we lose customers every month, but we are getting some more than one widget, let's say, per customer. So just a little quick business model I put up, and as you can tell, our headers here are just months, and then our inputs over here. And I don't know, just by seeing this, which ones I need to enter. Like I can change. A lot of times we'll ourselves want to change some data, and we want to just quickly go and change it, and we'll forget. We have to go to these cells and be like, oh yeah, these are all computed, and these all four are something I can change. So how we would normally, like you may normally do this, is maybe with a little bit of some borders up here. Maybe you add some kind of border, and then you might even say like, okay, I can't really, maybe I can border all of this, and okay, I still need to tell someone like, oh, these four are editable. You might fill it with something like a yellow. That's really big difference. Green. What I have pretty much always used, and I used this for like 5 years, is this blue, this particular blue. One of the reasons is no one chooses to use this color. You'll almost never use this color for headers. Like, this doesn't look right here. Like, this blue is like the least used color. Yellow and green, orange and red, even this darker blue have meaning. Like, red means danger, orange means undecided, yellow means warning, green means good. You even might already have used your like green here to highlight some results, right? Like, this is actually, like, if we just take this away, so, because no one ever uses this, that, right? Like, we don't need that color there. And as you can see, like, my eye immediately is just going straight here and here, right? These inputs get these results. This is the results we want, and these are the inputs we need to do. Now, this is how I've done it for years, and I recommend, if you don't do anything else, just do that really quickly. Absolutely, just use this blue. And I did this for about 6 months, and then everybody got used to it in the office. Like, just the blue means you can enter data there. But there's a slight problem with this, is that if we have a bunch of colors, we might have a small idea that we can like edit any color. We might have it, like, the highlight is a little garish. It's a little like unseemly, perhaps. Sometimes you want to input your data, but you also want to take a screenshot of it, or you want to share it with someone outside the company and they just don't know what this means. And so I've developed this thing now, is instead of doing this border around here, let's just take that off. And instead of doing this garish blue, let's take that off, go back to our custom. What I like to do is a border with the same color. Absolutely, you can do the same color. And now the numbers, the text is the same, the contrast is the same, and we just have a sort of a subtle hint that we need to input this. This is also based on how, like email subscribe buttons are, or like input data forms. A lot of forms are like this, where the border is highlighted for you and is the color that you need to do. And so that's sort of a better way to bring the eye. I mean, it doesn't get in the way. I'm like not staring at it. I can also make it very thin if everyone in your office is like okay with this. You can make the style. Let's see the style much thinner. See, it's like very faint. You can even try the other styles like double. Or let's do home. And that's like okay. That doesn't get in the way. It still says I need to input. I can input these numbers. I can change them. Um, and what's even more interesting is you can take this a step further and color code these. So like you can know, okay, anytime there's a colored border, I can edit it. But like for some reason, like this churn is bad. So like maybe we want to say like, hey, when you're editing this, this number means a bad thing, right? Like this is a warning. You may want to put green in money results. I do that a lot with like business models. I'll do that. I'll change this to, let's say, dark green and do this. Do this all. Actually, let's do a bright green because that is very hard to see. And right now we still have the colors. We still have it color coded, but it's a lot smoother, a lot nicer. Another thing is why these borders, and this border is a nicer way to do this, is that sometimes our data inputs are in a table, but we just don't know. Like looking at this table here, it's a similar one where we're trying to figure out churn, and we have these customers total, but what we need to input are these two rows here. But without clicking on these, I don't know that, right? And if I do what I used to do, right, is this garish blue, it is a lot of cells and it's almost mostly this blue. But I really don't want the eye. I don't want the eye when you're reading this to go here. I just want the person who is responsibility is to input this data to know to put it in there. So that's why color coding, let's reset that. Color coding this as well is really, really nice, much nicer to the eye. Let's use this. See, much nicer to the eye. I understand if I had been given the idea of Notion blue is an input, then I would know this was where I would have to input. And one more thing you can do just to stylize it a little bit more is add messages. So like if you do have some difference, so you can really add this message here to this. You can say, hey, this is costs, and this is churn. Or like you can say churn is the percent lost. And you can make a note here. Do this. And now these two things are connected, obviously only to people who are not colorblind, so that's one issue with this. But cost per widget is from last month. Cost. Something like that. Like if you need to give some type of information, if we had done the background, it would be you would bring your eye here as well. So now we have these connected. It's out of the way. It's not so much harsh on the eyes. And the last thing you can do is use the border, but also use sort of a lighter on the inside. And that way, if you really do need to give contrast to something and you want to have the border, this is a much nicer input. And also this matches a lot of the modern input fields in HTML forms. We see we can, copy those to make it a nicer feeling here. Also, just to remind you, borders are going to be whatever the last one was. So if I do this, now it was the last one we did was this blue, and that was on top here, and now it's black. You could always just give it a little bit of room here so that you can have both of those, all of that. And hopefully that helps you give some nice eye hierarchy to people who are helping you out entering data, or you need to help them with something, and you create all these formulas and you need them to enter all this data. This is a much nicer way to do it than a blue highlight, or not even telling them, or even having to discuss C3, go to C3, okay, C3. Now you can even tell them that and color it and give them two ways to find out the information they need to enter. That's it. Thanks so much. Bye.